The development is very misunderstood, and it is often thought of as a necessary evil, which I think is an absolutely false assumption that's made. Development is actually a phenomenal opportunity to connect people with resource to opportunities to make transformative social change. And so done well, it's about building relationships between people with resource to causes and communities that really need that resource to make a better world for all of us.
So a development team is a separate subcommittee on a board that focuses on developing our major donors, and maybe also, like in some situations, it might be those mid-level donors as well, in a person-to-person relationship. So it's absolutely critical if we're really going to, we've said if somebody could sit down and write you a $1,000 check and you've never really even met with them or they don't know a lot about you, they have potential to give a lot more than that if you really develop that relationship on a more personal basis.
So why we are development team is called our Philanthropy Committee, and the folks on that committee volunteer their time to support with all of YWE's fundraising, philanthropy, and donor stewardship. For us, this committee developed very organically as board members and volunteers from the greater community and even some of our alumni wanted a means to give back and to support our staff and our board in furthering YWE's mission and broadening our reach and developing relationships with our donors.
So really the kind of people that you want are people that know your supporters, know your major donors, know that tier 1 group. They might not be on your board, and people who are also generous themselves. Those are key folks to recruit and have on your development team, because what we've discovered is, again, people that are generous don't necessarily mind talking to other people about being generous. It's an easier conversation.
Each member of our development team has a personal story about why they're passionate about the mission and why they give to the organization. And that's really helpful when they're sitting down with a prospective donor or someone that we're planning to ask at a deeper level. They can speak heart to heart, passion to passion about why they personally invest in YWE, and that inspires our donors to give as well.
This idea of developing relationships with donors is important to do, not just because it works in terms of seeing people's giving increase, but it's also the right way to treat people.
Our donors are part of our community. They're not separate from our community. They are a critical part of it. And so just like we treat the young women in our program with respect and care, and we want to know what's happening in their personal lives and in their career dreams, and we treat our donors with that same sort of personal respect, and really bring them into the fold of the organization and the mission.
We know from experience, if you're really going to develop major donors, they need to be related to in more of an in-person way, and they need to have a relationship assigned to them. And ideally, with major donors, it would be 3 personal meetings per year, but only one time to talk about money. It's very easy to go do those 2 cultivation calls per year, because that really is just saying thank you. It's giving an update, giving some information. As the executive director of the organization, I want to make sure that development team member is really prepared to answer any questions that might be thrown their way, that they have maybe a visual that they can show the individual when they're meeting with them, maybe even a little gift like a book or a picture from our camp they can take with them and give to the person. The trickier conversation is when that 3rd time of the year, when they sit down and talk about their giving. And really, honestly, the best way for a development team member to learn that is just to see it done. So that's why oftentimes what we'll tell executive directors, hey, that one time a year where you go talk to your supporters about their gift this year, you better block out your schedule as executive director, because you're probably going to be going to a lot of those meetings with your development team members and showing them how to do that until they're comfortable to do it themselves. It's really not that difficult.
We've found that it can be a real deterrent for people to join the committee if they think that they're going to be the ones having to make a direct ask. So we really take that off the plate. And certainly we've had development team members join myself or my co-director at an ask meeting and be there to help steward the relationship and say thank you, but not to have to be the ones to actually ask for the funding has been really critical for us organizationally.
I think a lot of organizations are limited by their resources, right? In terms of the mission they're accomplishing. But it's not just financial resources, but it's human resources as well. And I think that to take fund development seriously, like we're talking about, and to do it with excellence, it's going to impact both those areas. Certainly if you're caring for your donors more, if you're developing relationships, if you're in touch with them more than just the one time a year that you talk about funding, if you're developing a major donor cohort of donors, it's going to increase your funding, and you're therefore going to be able to do more in your mission.
The more that we can bring our donor community and the young women we're here to support together to build understanding, to build a unified vision for community transformation, the better. That's what we're here for.